Hello there. If you didn't know, I'm creating a Plants vs. Zombies fan game that's been in development for a few months now. I hit 500 subscribers a few days ago, but I didn't have anything planned, so I started making this video. I'm going to show you some of my ideas for what I want to eventually add to my Plants vs. Zombies game. Keep in mind that not all of these will be in the next update, some might take a few months before they're added. Also, I really want feedback, so comment what your thoughts are and I'll consider them. First up, I've had a few ideas for plants I might eventually add. First up is Peep, which I've made the art for already. The main reason I want to add him is just because he looks kind of funny. Like, just look at him. My idea was that he costs 25 sun and shoots peas slowly, but if a zombie gets close, he'll stretch up and shoot a giant pea and then disappear. It could make a decent early game plant to take out singular zombies. This next plant was actually thought of by ChatGPT, the barbed vine. It would unlock in the world wall and probably be similar to an Endurian but with much less health. I'll probably have it cost 25 sun and recharge decently fast so you can get an early game wall. Also, apparently the barbed wire vine is from Australia, which is where I live. Another World War plant I thought of adding was the skunk cabbage. It would create toxic clouds that move across the lawn, slowly damaging zombies. I had the idea today, so I don't know what its stats should be like, but I'll work it out later. I wanted to add it because I've heard that in war toxic gas is used. I also made another plant that I haven't decided on the name for yet, but for now I'm calling it the grass lobber. It would pick up grass and lob it at the zombie that's furthest from your house. It won't do much damage, but grass would fall from the grass ball, pricking any zombies that it falls onto. Funny story, I made this one up by throwing grass around in a field full of cut grass. I have noticed I get my best ideas for this game when I'm outside in the real world. I considered adding a grass plant that you could put on the grass lobber, and it will change what kind of grass it grows, like poison grass or ice plants, etc. But I probably won't add it because it could take up a lot of seed slots and it just feels off. Comment what you think though. A grass plant I do want to add is needle grass. My idea is that it would fire a bunch of high damage grass needles at whatever zombie is closest to your home. Then it waits a bit to recharge its attack. It would be similar to the homing thistle, but instead of slowly attacking, it does lots of damage in a few seconds. I also want to add a few more moon landing plants like a mutant weed and a stealth mine, but I'm only adding them for a specific zombie, so I'll talk about them a bit later. There's also a few plants I've made up I won't add, but I'm mentioning because they're kind of funny. I had the idea for like a log plant. It would just be a copy of the log from Clash Royale. It pushes the zombies back and damages them. If I ever do some sort of Clash Royale event, I might add that, but probably won't until at least like 2024. I also had the idea for another joke plant. The purple grape plant would halve every zombie's health. If you don't get it, it's a reference to Thanos and how he kinda looks like a purple grape. Grape, not great. Now for some plants from the official games. Since you probably already know what the official plants do, I'll keep them short. I could add the chili bean, I could add the sunbean, though I don't personally use it. I've been planning on adding a chomper and an exploder nut for a while, but never got around to it. I also want to add Starlayer since I used a lot, Infinite too. I'll add Spike Rock, Charred Garden Clover eventually. I have a reason for adding Clover, by the way. I also want to add Melon Pult and Winter Melon. There's a few changes to plants I'm gonna do. I need to finish the code for the mutant nut and fix a bug with the dynamite tree. I'm also improving some of the art here and there, as well as redesigning all the pea shooter plants. That's all the plants I can think of, so let's move on to zombies. First up, I'm gonna properly introduce the office zombies, since right now it isn't introduced really. I also need to finish up the code for the alien zombie because he's more random than he's supposed to be. Also, if the alien zombie senses an obstacle in front of it and sees an adjacent lane that's free, he moves over. But that would probably be pretty hard to counter, so I want to add a stealth mine, which it won't be able to sense and it would blow up, and a mutant spike weed so that you can damage them from below, because they won't see it as an obstacle. Now for some upcoming zombies. I want to add an umbrella zombie. I'll explain why later. It would act similar to that one Lost City zombie I don't know the name of that bounces away load projectiles, but it would be more like a gentleman zombie. I'm probably gonna add the ducky tube zombie and have it interact with puddles like it changes speed. There's also a few World War zombies I want to add. I want to add a sniper zombie that sits at the back and occasionally shoots towards your planes, doing a lot of damage. The Gargantua for the World War would probably be a tank with an imp in it. Speaking of imps, I haven't added them. Shouldn't be hard though. By the way, my design for the moon landing Gargantua has a broken UFO on his head. I'll see if I can find the drawing to show you. I'm gonna finish the animations for the zombies, by the way. I can't think of anything else about zombies I'm planning to add, so let's talk about a few other things. Two worlds I've thought of adding are an apocalypse world, which I might not add from a lack of ideas, and a storm-themed world. Parts where I said I'll explain later, most of them relate to the storm world. The storm world would have three gimmicks. Rain would create puddles, lightning would randomly strike, and wind is a bit complicated. In levels with wind, it would affect the speed of certain projectiles. This means lobbed projectiles could miss easily by being blown off target. You would unlock the grass lobber in this world, as it could still damage zombies with the grass falling off. Blower would be unlocked here too, because it would have more use as it could change the wind. There would also be flying zombies that the blower could get rid of. The wind could also speed up or slow down flying zombies. Future Mario Man here. After I read this script, I thought a lot more about the storm world and decided to call it Cyclone Mahina, which is the name of the largest cyclone to hit Australia. I'm also gonna add more weather gimmicks like fog, acid rain, hail, and so on, as well as plants to counter and fit the world. I'm also planning on adding a versus mode eventually, mostly because I've wanted to play it since I first saw it years ago. I'm also expanding the garden to have lots of areas and different islands. And I'm also adding small things like sun graves and level progress and stuff like that. Well, that's pretty much everything I want to eventually add to my Plants vs. Zombies game. Remember, most of this probably won't be added until at least like next year, maybe. Please give feedback on how these ideas sound. Also, I could use some art, so if you're good at making vector art, you could offer to help in the comments if you want. I suck at writing conclusions, so I'm just gonna end it right here. Bye. Future Mario Man 90 again. This is one of the only videos that I spent more than 2 days on.